Then the time came when many of the people who were not trusted housemaids and gardeners hung about the suburb because they were unemployed. Some importuned for a job, weeding or painting a roof, anything. Bass, madam. But the man and his wife remembered the warning about taking on anyone off the street. Some drank liquor and fouled the street with discarded bottles. Some begged, waiting for the man and his wife to drive the car out of the electronically operated gate. They sat about with their feet in the gutters under the jacaranda trees that made a green tunnel of the street. For it was a beautiful suburb, spoiled only by their presence, and sometimes they fell asleep, lying right before the gates in the midday sun. The wife could never see anyone go hungry. She sent the trusted housemaid out with bread and tea, but the trusted housemaid said these were loafers and sotists who would come and tie her and shut her in a cupboard. The husband said, "She is right. Take heed of her advice. You only encourage them with your bread and tea. They are looking for their chance." And he brought the little boy's tricycle from the garden into the house every night, because if the house was surely secure once locked and with the alarm set, someone might still be able to climb over the wall, the electronically closed gates in the garden. "You are right," said the wife. "Then the wall should be higher." And the wise old witch, the husband's mother, paid for the extra bricks as her Christmas present to her son and his wife. The little boy got a spaceman outfit and a book of fairy tales. But every week there were more reports of intrusion, a broad daylight and the dead of night, in the early hours of the morning, and even in the lovely summer twilight. A certain family was at dinner while the bedrooms were being ransacked upstairs. The man and his wife, talking of the latest armed robbery in the suburb, were distracted by the sight of the little boy's pet cat effortlessly arriving over the 7-foot wall, descending first with a rapid bracing of extended forepaws down on the sheer vertical surface, and then a graceful launch, landing with swishing tail within the property. The whitewashed wall was marked with the cat's comings and goings, and on the side street of the wall there were large red earth smudges that could have been made by the kind of broken running shoes seen on the feet of unemployed loiterers that had no innocent destination. Then the man and his wife and little boy took the pet dog for its walk. When the man and wife and little boy took the pet dog for its walk around the neighborhood streets, they no longer paused to admire this show of roses or that perfect lawn. These were hidden behind an array of different varieties of security fences, walls, and devices. The man, wife, little boy, and dog passed a remarkable choice. There was the low-cost option of pieces of broken glass embedded in cement along the top of walls. There were iron grills ending in lance points. There were attempts at reconciling the aesthetics of prison architecture with the Spanish villa style, spikes painted pink, and with the plaster urns of neoclassical facades, 12-inch spikes finned with zigzags of lightning and painted pure white. Some walls had a small board affixed, giving the name and telephone number of the firm responsible for the installation of the devices. While the little boy and the pet dog raced ahead, the husband and wife found themselves comparing the possible effectiveness of each style against its appearance, and after several weeks, when they paused before this barricade or that, without needing to speak, both came out with the conclusion that only one was worth considering. It was the ugliest, but the most honest in its suggestion of the pure concentration camp style. No frills, all evident efficiency. Placed the length of walls, it consisted of a continuous coil of stiff and shining metal, serrated into jagged blades, so that there could be no way of climbing over it, and no way through its tunnel, without getting entangled in its fangs. There would be no way out, only a struggle, getting bloodier and bloodier, a deeper and sharper hooking and tearing of flesh. The wife shuddered to look at it. "You're right," said the husband. "Anyone would think twice." And they took heed of the advice on a small board fixed to the wall. Consult Dragon's Teeth, the people for total security. Next day a gang of workmen came, and stretched the razor-blade coils all around the walls of the house, where the husband and wife and little boy and pet dog and cat were living happily ever after. The sunlight flashed and slashed off the serrations. The cornice of razor thorns encircled the home, shining. The husband said, "Never mind. It will weather." The wife said, "You're wrong. They guarantee it's rust-proof." And she waited until the little boy had run off to play before she said, "I hope the cat will take heed." The husband said, "Don't worry. My dear, cats always look before they leap." And it was true that from that day on the cat slept in the little boy's bed and kept to the garden, never risking a try at breaching security. One evening the mother read the little boy to sleep with a fairy story from the book the wise old witch had given him at Christmas. Next day he pretended to be the prince who braves the terrible thicket of thorns to enter the palace and kiss the sleeping beauty back to life. He dragged a ladder to the wall. The shining coiled tunnel was just wide enough for his little body to creep in, and with the first fixing of its razor teeth in his knees, his hands and head, he screamed and struggled deeper into its tangle. The trusted housemaid and the itinerant gardener, whose day it was, came running, the first to see and to scream with him, and the itinerant gardener tore his hands trying to get at the little boy. Then the man and his wife burst wildly into the garden, and for some reason, the cat probably, the alarm set up wailing against the screams, while the bleeding mass of the little boy was hacked out of the security coil with saws, wire cutters, choppers, and they carried it, the man, the wife, the hysterical trusted housemaid, and the weeping gardener, into the house. Okay, well, that was Once Upon a Time by Nadine Gordimer. And I honestly hope this wasn't like a real person who actually told himself a bedtime story like this. But leave a comment below about what you thought of this story.